the Evolution Security Podcast. Hey, welcome everyone to the Evolution Security Podcast. We have an exciting and fun episode planned for this evening. Eric is in an undisclosed location. I can tell he doesn't have his cool microphone, so we'll deal with the
You're correct.
with the computer microphone, but that's all right. It still sounds pretty good to me over here, bro.
Good deal.
How's it going tonight? I hear you're traveling.
Yeah, doing a little bit of traveling. Normal duties sometimes, but I'll be back home before this airs, so no big deal.
Good deal. Well, Eric, we're going to do something a little bit different, and I don't think we've ever got to do this before. So this is one of our gear and mindset episodes, and we're going to change it up just a little bit when it comes to gear. We thought what we would do is maybe give a few little last minute gift ideas. You know, if you're like me, I'll tell you what, I buy everything for myself. Everything I want, I've already picked that stuff out. So my wife, if I'm getting something from my wife, she's like, okay, what do you want? And I'll give her the link to it, right? I am going to bet that a lot of our audience members are in the same boat. So this could be for you, that you have a last minute gift idea that you want to hand off to your significant other, or you want to get it for your significant other or your brother, something like that. I might send you something cool, Eric.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
We'll see if it's in my Santa budget. But so that's part of what we're going to do tonight. And of course, we aren't going to have a gear and mindset episode without some mindset. And on that note, bro, I'm going to pass it to you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, buddy. So our audience members have heard us say multiple times or mention one of our most important mentors, whom a lot of people don't know about just because he's chosen to kind of stay out of the larger group of trainers these days. But rest assured, he definitely was at the national level at one point. He just chose to kind of do his own thing. But he's still out there doing the work big time. And he is most assuredly, I would say, one of the most accomplished people that I know of. You know, a few things to mention. I mean, he was a national champion in IDPA at the expert level. And for at least a couple of years in a row, he was in the top 5 in masterclass in IDPA. He was a Division I wrestler. Of course, we've also talked about him winning golds at brown belt in no-gi and gi at Masters. And you know, he just is always excelling at the top, you know. But kind of a really, really pivotal accomplished for Mike was this last weekend, that is. Most people that do jiu-jitsu, and there's a lot of them in this audience, know that No-Gi Worlds was this last weekend. And we want to shout out to Mike and give him a huge congratulations because he won a silver medal at the black belt level, which, you know, a lot of people didn't know some of the struggles that Mike had with meeting that goal. And I'd just like to read from his post on Instagram. I texted him and asked him if it would be okay, and he seemed pretty pumped that we were wanting to do it. So anyway, so this is quoting Mike. In my first match as a black belt in 2016, I was choked unconscious. It was humiliating. I did better in my next 2, but still lost. I decided I didn't have what it takes to compete at the black belt level, so I quit competing. I didn't know that, by the way. I had to have knee replacements, so it was a convenient excuse to give up.
Hmm.
I had always wanted to stand on the world's podium in a black belt division, but knew I couldn't do it. I'm actually getting emotional for Mike. In January of 2021, I was able to return to the mat after recovering from the knee replacement and COVID taking all of us out of jiu-jitsu for a while. I was even worse than when I left. But there was a difference. I knew I could not end my time in competitive jiu-jitsu the way I did. I still dreamed about standing on that world's podium as a black belt. Marianne Williamson wrote once that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to admit that we alone are responsible for our own thoughts. I made a 2-year plan. I told myself I was going to lose 70 pounds and compete at the 2023 Masters World Championships and the 2023 Nogi World Championships. It took me 6 matches to finally win my first match at black belt, but once I did, it was all I needed. This Saturday, I accomplished my goal of standing on that podium. Along the way, I won a bunch of gold medals, including the Pan Am Championships, which super pumped. That was
Yeah.
just recently. And he's been winning all kinds of gold medals at the black belt level at, regional tournaments. And of course, Pan Am's is international. But that wasn't really the journey. The truth, however, is that the real victory was overcoming that deepest fear. Whatever you do with your remaining days, be the man in the arena, no matter where that arena is. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Really awesome. Congratulations, Mike. Man, you deserve the accolades, and man, we're real proud of you, brother. And you look awesome, man. He's looking super fit, man.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. But
I
yeah,
remember,
congratulations.
the last time actually I knew he was cutting some weight, but then my wife ran into him at the gym. They go to the same gym, and she took a picture with him. I was like, "Holy cow, that dude's a freaking Hulk now."
Yeah, he looked real good, man, and I'm super proud of him. I watched several of his matches over the weekend. It was really cool to be able to see him.
Bro,
And
I didn't get to see any matches this weekend, but I definitely watched his matches at the Pans. It was a blast getting to see him win that one for sure.
well, I think the biggest takeaway from all this, and my screwing up reading a big part of it, is that the mental side, this show's about gear mindset, and just to reiterate why we call it that, because we know, number one, we like gear, we love gear, and we know our audience members do as well. But we wanted to always try to have mindset involved in these discussions as well. And I just couldn't think of a better mindset example than Mike's win this last weekend. I mean, we've had some good stuff on here mindset wise, but man, that takes the cake, for quite a while. So congrats to Mike.
Oh yeah, congrats, Mike. Hope to see you sometime soon. Maybe get some privates.
Yeah, yeah, man. Again, jealous on even the shooting privates and the jiu-jitsu privates.
Bro, I can say this to my jiu-jitsu coach. Mike is helping him out for some upcoming competition too.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. Awesome.
Yeah.
So Matt's gonna get in on some matches upcoming.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I look forward to. I want to make sure I get to go. So I asked him. He didn't answer my question, so I need to resend that text. But man, that's excellent. I'm glad to hear that. I did see that post, but it hit me a little harder hearing you reading it. So super cool. Well, Eric, why don't we get into a little bit of fun stuff here? Like I said, some of this, we're going to talk about a little bit of gear. I'm going to talk about a few things here, bro. You know, I think I want to get one thing out of the way here when it comes to, you know, comes to jackets that keep us dry. Because if you're in this world, man, you end up having all kinds of jackets for all the different situations that you're going to find yourself training in. And I'll tell you, so a few weeks ago, I taught our defensive pistol one class, and I really appreciate all the students coming out because it was pouring down rain the whole friggin' time. And so here I was in I believe I paid $550 for an Arc'teryx Beta AR jacket. And that thing was completely wetted out. So
now, Aaron, that's the one with a little bit of insulation in it.
A little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit thicker.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to start this out now. Man, I love Arc'teryx gear. They make some great gear. And so I don't lay this at their feet. And I'm not I just know that a lot of people have had these types of situations. So I'm just going to lay it out here. So I have had 4 Arc'teryx Gore-Tex jackets. Every single one of them has delaminated.
Yep.
Every single one of them. And so actually, dude, to me, they're sourcing their material from Gore-Tex, right?
Yeah.
But I bought the gear from Arc'teryx. So the first jacket I got as like a unused jacket, but used on eBay, but it's brand new with the tags on it. That thing delaminated. Then I got a new one. That thing didn't delaminate. Actually, the coating on the inside started flaking off. So then they replaced that with another jacket. These were all the lighter weight. I think they're called. They're the not super light. I can't remember, but they're my favorite weight of Gore-Tex jacket.
Same here. I don't like because man, even in cool weather, like right now, and use this as an example, and I'll talk on this after you make some of your points. This is a leaf, so the military and law enforcement, and this is an Alpha LT. And, this sucker's been around the world, Afghanistan, Iraq, Thailand. It's been in a lot of places. But yeah, man, I've had to repair, and I did it myself because I was downrange. I had to repair the bottom. Like I had to cut some of it off and re-glue it. And I've had to re-glue this a couple of times. And, I made it work. But yeah, this is a $500 jacket, even though I didn't pay that because I was in the LEAF program for a little while till some Canadian decided I was a civilian and not active duty, and he took me out of it.
Even though you're not in the Army, but you're in the Army.
But here's an interesting point behind that. If you read the stipulation on the LEAF program, and I'm paraphrasing, it says for active duty military and law enforcement, and then some civilian, depending on function, and first responders. And I totally paraphrasing that. And of course, that when I wrote them originally, I told them what I do, and they signed me up. But yeah, this one that dude took over. He's like, "You're a civilian." And I explained to him, I said, read, and I copied and pasted their statement where I fit into that. And he still didn't. He was just a jerk. Must not like civilians getting good prices on their gear. But anyway, enough about that.
Well, so on that line, bro. So as I got my second replacement, and we're gonna make a point here, guys, and I'll cut it short. But then that second jacket that was a warranty one, while I was getting that warranty covered, getting a new jacket, I went ahead and bought a brand new Beta AR LT, which is the flipping $550 one, slightly thicker with insulation. And that's the one where I started realizing this warranty one was going out again. So the warranty replacement was delaminating. As I was trying to get that fixed, I noticed that my gray Beta LT was also delaminating. Long story short, of course, it just so happened to be slightly out of the warranty, which was 5 years. And then so that other one on that 5-year warranty on that one jacket, dude. So that's what pissed me off about it. So you got a jacket that's $550 and you're expecting it to only last 5 years, because that's all of them. 4 or 5 years, none of them lasted long enough. And dude, if there's people out there say you need to make sure you wash them with the correct detergent and put DWR on it. I did all that stuff, followed all the directions,
Same here, man.
Correct temperatures, followed all that stuff, and they still ended up wetting out and then delaminating. So finally, after Arc'teryx said they wouldn't replace that warranty jacket, which I can kind of understand that. But at the same time, I said, okay, I've got a crap ton of Arc'teryx gear, and I do, not just the Gore-Tex stuff. I said, I'm sorry, this is the last Arc'teryx stuff I'm buying if you can't make this right. Yep. Well, so they looked at the price I paid for that original jacket. It was $300. With that $300 credit, that only covered one of their lower end jackets for wind and keeping you a little bit dry, not waterproof, quote, like Gore-Tex is. It's actually a different Gore-Tex material called Infinium. So long story short, I'm done buying Gore-Tex jackets. I'll still probably keep buying stuff from Arc'teryx that I want, because they still do make some pretty dang good gear.
Yeah, and Aaron, I've thought about that a little bit myself and wonder what the best alternative is. And frankly, I haven't done enough research on it. And I think go ahead.
Here's what I'm going to suggest, and I have one on the way. My research turned up what would be a really good one that is not a lot of money, and it is like I said, I've got one on the way. It's the Carhartt Storm Defender Relaxed Fit Lightweight. It's $99, and it's Carhartt's attempt, it sounds like, at a Gore-Tex thing. Bro, if this jacket only lasts 5 years, hey, I won't be too concerned about that at $99, right? So I would suggest do some research. That is something as a good last minute gift idea. If you're training, you're going to need some sort of rain protection, even if it's going to be, just a little bit drizzling, keep the wind off of you. But I would suggest at least checking out that Carhartt jacket, because I'll do a review when I get mine in. But my research showed that people really liked it and it worked really well.
Yeah, and Aaron, interestingly enough, I had looked back in some stuff that I'd saved some notes on, and I honestly forget. I could probably look in my notebook here and probably find a note on it, but I won't do that for the sake of the show. But I had it saved in my iPad, and whom I discovered it from was somebody I trusted, but I still want to do a little more research. There's a company called Beyond. And I don't think they're U.S. made. Maybe they're a U.S. company, but they're sourced elsewhere.
Yeah, like a lot of companies these days.
but they've got what's called ultralight L4. Is it Vertum or no? Goodness, man! Now I feel like a jackass. Hold on a second. Is it Ventum? Yeah, it's a Ventum. Pardon me. I can't read my own notes, but it's wind and water resistance. I don't think it's supposed to be as effective as, say, like a new Gore-Tex jacket, but it's only around $120, somewhere in there. That came highly recommended. But again, I'm not recommending it per se. I'm saying that's something that I'm looking into. And if I can say one other, but they're unfortunately, man, they're expensive as outdoor research.
Yep.
They're expensive as well, but they are at least all U.S. made.
Oh yeah, I like Outdoor Research. I've got a lot of their gear too, and yeah, they have a jacket. I believe it's called a Helium.
Yeah,
and I may be getting my wires crossed here, but I'm pretty sure that is not a Gore-Tex jacket. It is their version of a rain tight material. So check into that too. Yeah. The main suggestion here, I know this has been long-winded about Arc'teryx and other Gore-Tex jackets and stuff, but you need some rain-resistant gear. Check out that Carhartt. Check out the Helium by Outdoor Research, and see if you can't get that on your list, maybe for your Christmas list last minute.
Well, and Aaron, to make the point, the obviously we like to stay comfortable when we're training, but ultimately these types of jackets, even ones that wet through a little bit, can save your life, is the point. We want ones that keep us dry, or as dry as long as possible, because that is ultimately what they're about. They're about protecting you from the environments, so that I think is the most important factor is, Arc'teryx is built for it's built around the alpinist lifestyle. Those people need to stay dry.
That's correct. Yeah, even though mine was wetted out at that class, it still kept me dry.
Yeah.
But I was just a little cooler than I wanted to be, and that was from the wetting out. Well, one other thing I wanted to throw in here, this may not be gear, but it kind of is. So something that a lot of people are coming into contact with, and Eric, by one example is I saw Kyle DeFore had this issue at a class he was teaching, is, a lot of us use Holosun optics, and they have that real convenient battery tray, right, with that little screw in it. Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people are having that screw come undone. And so I put a little bit of blue Loctite on mine, all of mine, so that doesn't happen to me. That it's been, and I've seen it in other forums and everything. It just sounds like it's definitely a issue that we need to address. We just like we put Loctite on installing them. Sounds like that's going to be a good best practices to put that on the battery tray too.
Yeah, man.
Just wanted to put that suggestion out there.
Yeah, no, that's a real good point, Aaron, because I know I haven't on my optic. So I'm writing a note here. That's an important reminder.
Yeah. So, Eric, now, before we go much further, I did want to mention one of our awesome sponsors, and that's Tenicor. I was able to get in my new Zero Heavy belt, and man, that thing's awesome. So just think about any of you out there that have the Zero belt, which I'll just say again, there's nothing like that belt for EDC. Best there is. Yeah. But a lot of people were wanting something a little bit thicker that have heavier gear. And like, for instance, I ran mine this weekend at IDPA because it needed to support a little bit heavier gear. But so where the buckle and the tail are on the belt, it's the same thickness, which is pretty genius of Jeff and his crew. So you still got the same thickness where you're placing your pistol, where you're placing your centerline knives or mag pouches, etc. But then the rest of the belt has a extra webbing layer in the core, and so it's real strong, rigid, and thick. Now it's not as thick and it's not annoyingly thick like a lot of belts out there, but it's frankly double the thickness and rigidity. Yeah, so at IDPA I used mine because I'm running a few mag pouches. And with the normal Zero belt, and you're doing that on the hip, they're just a little bit loose.
Yeah. And that belt's supposed to be really good at holding your gear, but it's, regular EDC. It should have a little bit of flexibility.
Yeah.
To it.
Number one thing is that, so the Zero belt, the regular Zero belt, the thickness, and hey, this works with the thick one too, because the new heavy version, it has the same thickness where, like I said, where your gun is. The point of that being more flexible is that it actually conceals better right where it pulls it in at the holster on the if you're right-handed, at the left side of the holster. It needs to be that flexible. It actually pulls it in further. Put on a thick belt and see what the gap is compared to that Zero.
Yeah, man. And bro, you can tell, man, people are worried about printing with any kind of holster, but then they get one of those extra thick belts. Bro, you can see the belt protruding,
Yep.
and sometimes you can tell there's a gun there because the thing is so rigid and it creates that gap.
But so Jeff covered that. So the Zero has always been a well thought out thickness, etc. But again, so if you do want something heavier, say you still like your Zero belt and you want to do some carbine classes, etc., where you need to carry some magazine pouches for not only your pistol but your AR, and then maybe a heavier outside the waistband holster, you're going to be good to go with that Zero Heavy. So go to Tenicor.com, check that out. Get you 2 Zeros for Christmas. How about that? Get you the new thick one if you need one, or the heavy version, or the normal one. You're not going to be disappointed if you don't have one of those. Okay, Eric.
Yep.
So here's another thing I wanted to talk about is ear and eye protection. I'll start out with eye protection. Now, remember, about a year and a half ago, I got my eyes fixed, and it was the first time I could get regular sunglasses in 20-something years or more. And the first thing I did when I got my eyes fixed is like, man, I want some pretty cool sunglasses, but I want those sunglasses to be able to protect my eyes and use them as eye protection when shooting. So I got these. These are kind of typical in the shooting community too, but these are the Oakley gas can model, and these are from the Mill and LE side of Oakley. What's kind of cool is you're not going to be able to see it from here, but the O there in the Oakley, it has 5.56 caliber.
Yeah,
so kind of a cool little deal. But these have the polarized lenses. The polarization, if you're familiar with that, it does make your vision a little sharper.
Mm-hmm.
And it does help. So I would highly recommend those. Now,
Aaron, I'm curious, do I look like a bearded Terminator currently?
You do look like a bearded Terminator, but didn't he have? He had gargoyles.
Yeah, bro. I'm just. Yeah, and Aaron, I don't know what version this is. Believe it or not, these are issued. I've had 2 issued pairs. This is my last issued pair.
But clearly, so those are Oakley's too. So clearly, those are issued. So they're definitely covered.
What's that?
They're definitely set at the protection level. I think all Oakleys are strong enough to be shooting glasses.
Yeah, I don't know that for certain, Aaron. They may be, but I know most assuredly these versions are
Mm-hmm. And
are
definitely the gas can
great.
ones are. So that's a suggestion. If you don't like Oakley gas cans, research and find some good ear, excuse me, some good eye pro that you've been looking for and haven't actually laid down the cash on. So now that I was stuttering on Ear Pro, Eric, so I what made me think about Ear Pro was yesterday I was running my LPVO AR-15, my 14 and a half inch BCM with my Vortex LPVO on it. And man, I was having a hard time getting a cheek weld
Mhm.
without it moving up my hearing protection. Now that may be a technique issue of where I'm placing my stock or where my eye relief is on my scope. So that may be something I need to tighten up. But at the same time, it brought up the fact that if you don't have any good electronic hearing protection, man, that's a must in my opinion, especially when you're taking classes. It helps out a ton when you're teaching or just talking to your friends, not having to take your ear pro off and on. Now, my favorites that I've ever had are MSA Sordins, or I think they're just Sordins now. Now they have the best and quickest compression limiter circuit, and
Mhm.
of course that's technically the type of circuit that is actually closing that sound off. It needs to hear that sound and clasp it super fast or to protect your hearing. Well, a few others that I've used, they are not fast enough. And I'll just lay one out there. The one that I was not real happy about was the Champion Vanquish Pro. I mean, I mean, 3 or 4 milliseconds of delay when it came to that circuit compressing. It's just not protecting your ears. So, so for my MSA Sordins though, something I just ordered because this made me look and see about other options. And I found out that you can get these gel kits for Sordins, and it
Mhm.
not only has a gel ear cup, but it also adds a little bit more foam. So there's a little bit more hearing protection with them. So I think if you have Sordins or if you have, say, Howard Lights, there's all kinds of kits out there. It's funny. I didn't even know about this until yesterday. So that's another gift idea for 20, $30. You can get some of those gel ear cups that actually are supposed to help even reduce, just those alone help reduce the dB.
Well, Aaron, I'll just add this. So it seems that I failed you again because I never told you about those gel cups, man, because they do make a huge difference. Way more comfortable, way more comfortable, and they do. I do believe they protect better. So yeah, absolutely, those are excellent. That's a good $30 gift,
Oh,
certainly for your
definitely.
loved one or for yourself.
So this is kind of encompassing a couple of things. If you've got some Mirror Pro you like, ask for some good gel cups. They're just research for your particular brand. Now, but then I definitely recommend the Sordins. They're the best hearing pro I've used so far. I'm not saying they're the best out there, but they're easily the best I've tried, and I've tried quite a few.
Yeah, they're absolutely my favorite as well.
And they do have a lower profile compared to a lot of hearing protection, especially non-electronic.
Yeah, and I did want to say that there's all kinds of things that can cause the issues with external ear pro. It doesn't bother me. I thought it would when I moved over because I used to be picky about, I would only use external or earmuffs for pistol, and I would always wear earplugs for carbine stuff. But it's just not enough protection, man.
No, it's not. And then there is the issue. I'm not going to speak from an expertise, but there definitely is the risk of what is bone from your actual cheekbone up against the stock. That can actually damage your hearing. It's just going to resonate through to your ears.
Yeah, and the sound concussion can also do the same thing, vibrating your jaw and mechanically harm your hearing. But both mechanisms are, to my understanding, do affect your hearing a lot more than people think. And so, yeah, man, again, that's why, sometimes it's a good idea to do plugs and earmuffs inside of indoor gun ranges.
That's definitely what I'm going for. Rifle, I'm going to double up on internal plugs and the Ear Pro.
Because Aaron, one thing I'd like to say to our audience out there, because I know we got a lot of our audience members. In many cases, they're more subject matter experts than we are. We don't even claim to be subject matter experts per se. We have some expertise in some areas, but we know we got folks out there that listen that maybe like our show that can provide some more recommendations. So any of these subjects, Gore-Tex jackets, alternatives, you guys got Ear Pro that you prefer, iPro you prefer over some of the mentioned items, man, please, shoot us an email or a comment over on social media, email at crew@evosec.org. We love hearing from you guys. So you guys got recommendations, shoot us an email over.
Excellent. I'd love to hear from the audience on that for sure. So, and then I think I don't think I mentioned it, but then another alternative, which our good buddy Brian, our business partner, he suggested the Howard Leight Impact Sports model. Those are those are low profile, and you can definitely get the gel cups for those also. So that's one other suggestion, and those are more like $80 in with the gel cups. With the Sordins, you're looking at $300, $280 for the basics. But one thing I will say about the Sordins, and we'll move on. I've been running the same Sordins with one replacement of the cups. I've been running those for about 12 years, and they're still running strong, and they've been used a lot.
I'm thinking I got my Sordins in 2010.
Yeah,
we're sitting 13, going on 14 years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now, Eric, you can help me out with this, but here's another really good idea: is a small gun safe for your car. And of course, I have friends, we've talked about this before. I have a really good friend that his Glock 42 got snatched out of his car when he was in a restaurant. And that's gone, never recovered. And some criminal has that on the street now. So I have just an inexpensive Liberty Safe cable, small, large enough just for one pistol. I'm pretty dang confident in it. It would withstand a smash and grab with the cable. I know there's better types of safes, you can install them, but I think everybody, if you don't have a car safe, you need to at least get something like that. And Absolutely. there are what do you call it? Biometric, pardon me, ones that you can get that are a little bit more expensive, or there are ones with key codes. Eric, I think you have one. What type do you have? Because it's a key code one, right?
Yes, it is. It's a I mean, I think they'd still call it biometric, but it's just a finger code. It's a 4-digit code, and mine's called the Vault-Tec Life Pod is what I have. They got a few versions of it. Man, I use it all the time because, there's, like depending on, how I'm going to jujitsu, I lock my pistol in there. In some cases, I lock it in my bag, cabled in, depending on where I'm going.
Yeah.
And, also when I travel, that's what I use. I use that Vault-Tec for locking my pistol in my bag, my luggage, I should say. And I also use it to cable to, sometimes it's a challenge to find the perfect place to cable it in. But I tell you, a place that's better than nothing at all, and they're typically really, really anchored in, is in the shower, the handle that's in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
And there's several other places, and you can get creative. The point is it's to prevent a smash and grab.
Yeah, you can easily find a decent cable lock type of safe for $30 I think is what I paid for mine.
Yeah, those little cable Liberty safes, they are you can find lesser models for around $20 sometimes on sale, but we average $30 at the time of this recording. That's a place to start. And yes, it's key, right? It's key. But I think that it's just so important for folks to understand that our vehicles aren't holsters, and not to beat up on anybody out there that does it. I've been guilty of it in the past till I saw the light and got more mature about it. But now I don't, man. I do not lock my pistol in the glove compartment or anywhere else in the vehicle without being in a safe.
Yeah, bro. So that's one. I think that's an excellent one. If you don't have one of those, put that on your Amazon list. If you're okay with Jeff Bezos getting a little bit of your money, it's pretty
Aaron,
easy.
Help me get these links together for the show notes.
Oh yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead and just recap everything we're talking about here. So we're talking about asking for, researching a decent but inexpensive rain jacket, and we recommended grab some Loctite, put it on your battery tray in your optic. Check out the Tenicor Zero belts. That's another great idea. And then we're talking about iPro. I'm really digging my gas can Oakleys, but research and find you some good iPro. Anywhere from $60 to $200, you're going to get something good. I like the sunglasses because they look kind of cool too, but protect me from having stuff below in my eyes. And then, of course, Ear Pro. MSA Sordin or Sordins these days, and Howard Leight, and check out those gel cups. And then lastly, safes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's fine. And then lastly, the car gun safes. I think that covers some decent stuff.
Yeah, I think so too, man. Good arrangement, buddy. What do you think? You want to move on to a little bit of accountability, or what's your thoughts?
Yeah, we haven't done that in a while, and I've got like some real accountability I'm wanting to give, so why don't you start out, bro?
So a lot of folks have heard me talk about, I'm sitting there laughing. It's not funny at all, to be frank, is that, I've continued to have some issues with my back since my 2018 injury, and I re-injured my back again right after it was like right after the combative summit. I was so pumped about where my jiu-jitsu had been heading, and I wouldn't say I was overtraining, But there were times where I was not working on recovery enough. Right there, I think there's a difference. There's overtraining, or there's training hard and not working on recovery. And I was not doing as much recovery strategies that I know I need to be doing. So I think I would say that that's what kind of contributed. Anyway, I had a spinal injection in there, and I would say I'm a lot better, but I am not 100%. You know, it's just a fact. But I'm doing a ton better, so I'm back to my normal gym work. I'm still on the lighter side, mainly working calisthenics right now: dips, bench press, chin ups, kettlebell swings, kettlebell deadlifts. I'm doing some shadow boxing with my my little egg weights, and my Echo bike for both longer distance, slow, and then also sprints. And I'll say something about that. You know, all these things that I'm talking about, I had to write down a list on the things that I can do and tolerate that don't bother my back currently. And the main point behind that is, you know, anytime we get an injury, we still can train, and we need to take some time off. I took some time off, but you know, find out what you can do and what you can tolerate, and still try to get some training in. As far as jujitsu, I always beef up my video study when I'm not able to be on the mats as much. So of course, I'm just hours and hours of John Danaher videos. I mean, I'm to the point where his videos are the only ones I watch anymore, because I got enough of his content, and it's, I just like his teaching style, and you know, have so many good notes on, you know, bracketing all the ones that I want to work on at certain times. And right now I'm studying um, guard sweeps and these knee lever sweeps that I can't believe and I've seen some of them before, but I just didn't pay real close attention to them. And man, these knee lever half guard sweeps, man, that they are money sweeps, and they're not hard. And then I've also been working some additional long step guard passing. That I've got a couple of long step guard passes, but some of the Danaher's stuff is just, you know, adding to that repertoire and adding some details that I didn't have. So I'm doing all that with my grappling dummy. That grappling dummy is to this day, talking about gear, you know, just one of the most important tools I have. Still been able to shoot. Since the injury, I've probably still shot, and there was a few times where I couldn't stand long enough for my sciatic pain would jump so high. But since the injury, I've been to the range about 5 times. And in the last 2 weeks since I've been back, I've had 2 sessions, mainly working on B8 bull accuracy again. I'm trying to dial that back in because I got away from it for a little while. And working and you know, I was taking your lead, man. I've been working on the IDPA classifier, you know, just working on that. And there's not just for the qualification, but there's so much you can learn from that. And really that couples, Aaron, with the Ben Stoger doubles. And man, Aaron, I have really learned from that drill how often I put input into the gun that I don't need to. That's causing me errant shots, when in many cases, some of my errant shots are that I'm trying to put input into it, like I'm trying to keep the gun from recoiling, you know. And as long as I've been shooting, I know not to do that, but I think you get into this mental state where you don't realize you're doing it. You know, and that double drill really helps me understand that, and really lets me understand I got to let the gun do what the gun does. You know, and you know, I've been dry firing every day too until I came here. You know, I could have probably brought my cert gun, but I left out of the house a little bit quick, and this is a short trip, so it's not that big of a deal. So I'll miss a few days. But I honestly think that's it for me, man.
Well, let's get some of the fun stuff out of the way. So I have been continuing my focus on hitting matches as often as I can. I did have a couple of, I think I at least had 1 week off, but I went to a match this weekend. And again, this is exciting for me, and it comes down to my strength coming back. Every match, I'm shooting better than the last one, and it's definitely encouraging. So, bro, this is we can talk about a new goal that we have that we talked about. So here's some accountability too. So the last match a couple of weeks ago, I took another classifier. I've been shooting when it comes to the rankings within, let's just say within the carry optics division. I've been hovering around the expert class. Now, to some people, that's not real high in our audience, but you know that's not too bad. But I shot a classifier, and if I would not have had a hard primer, I would have been full on expert at that point.
Yeah,
and
I saw the results. Yep.
And it was so then I took the classifier cold a couple of days later, and I was about 1.6 seconds away from master. So what I'm trying to say is, and Eric, you're shooting better than me these days. So
not too much.
But here's
you're out shooting me, so that's just a fact.
Well, we can say we're neck and neck a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But so our goal is within the next 6 months, and we need to have some accountability on this, that we both need to make that master class within 6 months. I think it's definitely doable for both of us, because we're both higher in again, in carry optics, we're closer to master than to sharpshooter. So, but that's some accountability there that we're going to follow back up on. Now, so here's some of the more, I wouldn't say negative, but again, true accountability. So when I had surgery several months ago, it's been, I have to think about it, it's been about 6 months ago. Of course, that made it to where I couldn't do really anything for about 4 months. But guess what I love to keep doing, bro? I love to keep drinking the thick beers, IPAs and stouts.
Yep.
And instead of making sure I was keeping that down to a minimum, I definitely enjoyed keeping that going when I wasn't able to do much. So
I was guilty of it too, bro.
So where I am right now is that I had 20 pounds I wanted to cut, and that during surgery I put on about 10. So I need to cut 30 pounds. And so what I did, I finally, full disclosure, there's all kinds of things when it comes to discipline that I've had an issue with. So I finally went ahead and followed Lenny Basham's teachings on the affirmation statement, and I created an affirmation statement to go ahead and make sure that I cut those pounds. And so part of that affirmation statement is stating in the present tense what you want to do, and then the steps that you're going to take to do that. And then the affirmation statement really comes in when you're stating things that feel good about reaching that goal, etc., because that is where the positive imprint comes in, of making yourself think about in the future as if you're already there and you have the benefits already. So I have that set up, and it's really all about, I didn't understand this in the beginning until we had Lenny on maybe about 20 episodes ago. I'd have to look at it. And he clarified the affirmation statement coincides with changing habits.
Yep.
It's a 21-day affirmation statement. If you don't meet those habit changing goals within that 21 days, you start it over and give yourself another 21 days. But you need to treat it as, this is what I'm doing, and I need to change these habits before these 21 days are up. And that way you're going to meet that affirmation statement, that goal statement. So with part of that affirmation statement is that I am making sure I hit jits 2 times a week and I hit the weights 2 times a week. For my schedule, that's still quite a bit. So, but I am getting that in now. And I'll be frank too, I'm cutting the beer.
Yep.
I just don't need any more. My son, I was talking to him about it. Let me be real clear. I don't want audience members to think I had a problem with it, you had a problem with it, or it's just caloric. And and I'll be honest, when I have a beer or two, I start wanting to snack. So you don't just have the caloric beer or whatever. You've got the snacks that kind of come in. So and as I was talking to my son, who himself is significantly into fitness, and he said, "Yeah, Dad." He goes, "It's simply a net negative."
Yep.
And because I found
there's
that
no benefit.
I still found that profound what he said, though. He said it's a net negative. Because even at 18 years old, he was saying, yeah, there's some benefit to it. Tastes good, you enjoy it. But then when it all comes down to it, there is a net negative. So that's something I've committed to. And that's part of my affirmation statement too.
Well, and Aaron, what I would tell you, because it's funny, I'm a bigger person than you anyway. But it's 30 pounds I got to lose, so I need to get back down to around the 200 mark. And so I'm saying, and I thought about that the other day too, since we decided to make this, accountability thing for both of us, that we're going to commit to it. I need to do my affirmation as well. But Aaron, because we keep going in and out, I don't want to lose you again. That's a excellent, ending to accountability, bro. And we're just going to keep at it together and keeping each other accountable. And we'll have more accountability on that for our audience here soon too.
Yeah, sounds great. I'm glad we got to do this, bro. I think this was a fun episode, and hopefully everybody enjoyed it. It's a little bit different than what we've done recently, but this is kind of bringing some old school evolution, security, accountability. So, well, brother, be safe there in your travels, and hope you get home pretty soon, like you said. And
yeah, bro, I'll be home before this airs.
And to everybody out there, have a happy holiday season and a Merry Christmas. If you don't hear from us before Christmas, but we're going to keep saying that. Merry Christmas. And Yep. The holiday season is a blast for family and getting some things done, like some shooting, etc., on some vacation days.
Oh yeah.
You have a good one, bro. Love you.
Love you too, man. Bye.
Bye.